The night was quiet on Ty's farm. Stars filled the sky above his rice fields. Ty sat on his porch, drinking tea after a long day of work. At 62, his hands were rough from years of farming, but he still loved this land. Suddenly, a bright light cut across the sky. Ty stood up, spilling his tea. This was no ordinary shooting star. It was too big, too bright, and it was heading straight for his eastern field. The object hit with a sound like thunder. The ground shook. Ty's cups fell from their shelf inside his small house. His dog, Mong, began to bark wildly. "Quiet, Mong," Ty said, his voice shaking. He grabbed his flashlight and a walking stick. "Stay here." The night air felt cold as Ty walked toward the crash site. Smoke rose from his rice paddy. The crops he had tended so carefully were now a mess of mud and broken plants. In the center was a deep hole, and something large lay inside it. Ty's flashlight beam shook as he pointed it at the crater. What he saw made him freeze. It looked like a dragon from the old stories his grandmother used to tell. But this was no creature from a fairy tale. Its skin shone like metal, with colors that changed when the light hit it. Parts of its body had broken open, showing what looked like wires and strange devices inside. A blue liquid leaked from these wounds, glowing faintly in the dark. One of its wings was completely torn off. The other was bent at a strange angle. The creature was big, about the size of Ty's tractor. It breathed in short, painful gasps that sounded partly like an animal and partly like a machine. Ty almost turned to run. Then the creature moved. It turned its head toward him, and Ty saw its eyes, 3 of them, set in a triangle on its face. They glowed with a soft blue light, the same color as the liquid leaking from its wounds. Those eyes looked at Ty with clear intelligence. They blinked slowly, one after another, not all at once. Ty stood still, too shocked to move. The creature was clearly hurt badly. Despite his fear, he felt sorry for it. Then the dragon spoke. "Just kill me," it said in perfect Korean. Its voice was deep, but also had a strange buzzing quality, like a radio not quite tuned right. "Please, end this pain." Ty dropped his flashlight in shock. It rolled down into the crater, stopping near the creature's damaged wing. You can talk," Ty finally managed to say. The dragon's 3 eyes blinked again in sequence. "Yes, I can speak many Earth languages." It tried to move but stopped, making a sound like metal grinding against metal. "My systems are failing. I will die soon anyway. It would be kinder if you ended it quickly." Ty slowly climbed down into the crater to retrieve his flashlight. Up close, the dragon was even stranger. What he had thought was skin was actually some kind of metal that seemed almost alive. It moved slightly with each breath the creature took. "What are you?" Ty asked. "Where did you come from?" The dragon was quiet for a moment. "My name is Do. I come from very far away. The details do not matter now." It made that grinding sound again. "Do you have a weapon? Something quick?" Ty shook his head. "I'm a farmer, not a hunter. I grow life. I don't take it." "Then leave me," Do said. "Let me die in peace." But Ty couldn't just walk away from a suffering creature, no matter how strange. "Let me help you," he said. "I don't know how, but there must be something I can do." The dragon's eyes seemed to grow dimmer. "No human technology on this planet can repair me. At least let me make you comfortable." Ty insisted. "Wait here." The dragon made a sound that might have been a laugh. "I am not going anywhere." Ty hurried back to his house. Mong whined at the door but stayed inside when Ty told him to. Ty grabbed his warmest blanket from his bed and a first aid kit. Though he doubted bandages would help a metal dragon, when he returned, Do's eyes were closed. For a moment, Ty thought the creature had died. Then one eye opened, then another, then the third. "You came back," Do said, sounding surprised. "Of course I did," Ty replied. He carefully spread the blanket over the dragon's body. As he did, his hand touched something strange under the metal skin. There was a crack in the dragon's side, and through it, Ty felt something soft and warm, not metal at all. Curious, Ty pulled the blanket back and shone his flashlight at the crack. What he saw made him stagger backward in horror. Inside the metal dragon was a person, a human woman, connected to the dragon body by countless wires and tubes. Her eyes were closed, and the blue fluid seemed to flow through tubes into her body. "What is this?" Ty gasped. Who is she? Did you eat her? All three of Do's eyes opened wide. No, you don't understand. The dragon's voice changed, becoming less mechanical and more human. I am her. This is not a creature that captured me. It is me. It is my ship, my vehicle, my protection. Tai stared in confusion. I don't understand, the dragon or the woman inside its side. I see I must tell you the truth. I am human, Farmer Tai, or I was, once. I come from Earth, but not your Earth, not your time. How do you know my name? Tai asked, suddenly afraid again. Your farm is marked on our star charts, Do said. This land. In my time, it becomes important, very important. Tai looked at the woman inside the metal dragon. She seemed to be sleeping, but her face showed pain. She looked Korean, but something about her features was slightly different. Are you saying you're from the future? Tai asked. Yes, Do replied. And I came with a warning about something terrible that is about to happen to your world. The blue lights in the dragon body flickered. Help me out of this shell, Tai. My life support is failing. If I'm going to survive, if I'm going to tell you what you need to know, I need your help now. Tai hesitated only a moment before reaching toward the crack in the metal skin. Whatever this woman was, whatever strange future she came from, she needed help, and Tai had never turned away from someone in need. Tai's hands trembled as he worked to free the woman from the metal dragon body. The outer shell was hot in some places and ice cold in others. The blue liquid made his fingers tingle when he touched it. There should be a release switch, Do said weakly. Near the neck area, a small red button. Tai moved to the dragon's head and searched with his flashlight. There, partly hidden under a panel of metal scales, he found a red button about the size of a coin. He pressed it firmly. A hissing sound filled the air. Steam rose from the dragon body as panels began to open along its sides. The metal scales shifted and folded back like a flower opening. Inside, Tai could now clearly see the woman connected to the machine by dozens of thin tubes and wires. Now the second button, Do instructed. Inside, by my right hand. Tai reached carefully into the opening. He found another button and pressed it. The tubes connected to the woman's body detached one by one with soft clicking sounds. The blue liquid stopped flowing. Can you help me sit up? The woman asked. Her voice was now fully human, though weak. Tai gently supported her shoulders as she struggled to sit upright. She was wearing a tight-fitting black suit that covered her from neck to feet. Her hair was short and black with a single streak of silver. She looked to be in her 30s, but her eyes seemed much older. Thank you, she said, taking a deep breath of the night air. My name is Do Hana. The dragon Exasuit was my ship and my protection. Exasuit? Tai asked, confused by the strange word. It's a machine that goes around a person, Hana explained. It lets me travel through space and survive in places where humans normally couldn't live. Tai looked at the broken metal shell around them. It's destroyed now. Hana nodded sadly. Yes, I was attacked before I could complete my mission. What mission? Tai asked. Why are you here? Hana tried to stand but fell back with a gasp of pain. I need medical help. Is your house far? Not far, Tai said. But I'm not sure I can carry you. In the tail section. Hana pointed to the back of the dragon body. There's a small black box. Can you get it for me? Tai found the box. It was about the size of a lunch container and surprisingly light. He brought it to Hana, who opened it to reveal strange tools and small containers of colored liquids. She took out a small tube filled with green gel and spread some on her arm. The gel seemed to sink into her skin. Almost immediately, her breathing became easier. That will help for now, she said. If you can help me walk, I can make it to your house. Tai helped Hana to her feet. She was light, much lighter than he expected. With his arm around her waist and her arm over his shoulder, they slowly made their way out of the crater. We should hurry, Hana said, looking up at the sky. They might be tracking me. Who? Tai asked, suddenly worried. The ones who shot me down, Hana replied. The erasers. They reached Tai's small farmhouse just as the first light of dawn appeared in the east. Mong barked once when they entered, but then sniffed Hana curiously and wagged his tail. He likes you, Tai said, surprised. Mong usually didn't trust strangers. Dogs have good instincts, Hana said with a small smile. They can tell I'm human, even if I'm different. Ty helped her to his small couch. Are you hungry? I can make soup. Water first, please, Hannah said. Then food. Yes. It's been a long time since I had real food, not synthesized nutrients. While Ty heated soup on his old stove, Hannah looked around his simple home with interest. Her eyes lingered on the photos of Ty's family on the wall. Is that your wife? She asked, pointing to a picture of a smiling woman next to a younger Ty. Yes, Ty said softly. Minji, she died 5 years ago. I'm sorry, Hannah said. No children. Ty shook his head. We tried, but it wasn't meant to be. He brought her a bowl of soup and sat across from her at his small table. Now, please tell me what's happening. You said you're from the future? Hannah sipped the soup and closed her eyes for a moment, enjoying the taste. Yes, I come from about 300 years in your future. Humanity has spread to the stars. We've changed, adapted to live in space and on other worlds, like aliens? Ty asked. No, still human, Hannah said. Just evolved. The exosuit you saw is how we travel between stars. It protects us and lets us survive in space. But why come here? To this time? Hannah put down her spoon. Her face became serious. Because we discovered something terrible is about to happen to Earth. To your Earth, in your time. A solar flare of unprecedented size will hit this planet in 16 days. It will destroy most electronic systems and cause massive destruction. Ty frowned. Solar flare? You mean from the sun? Yes, Hannah said. The sun sometimes releases bursts of energy. Small ones happen often, but this one will be thousands of times stronger than anything recorded in your history. And it will destroy everything? Ty asked, his voice shaking. Not everything, Hannah said, but it will send your civilization back hundreds of years. Millions will die from the chaos that follows. No electricity, no communications, no modern medicine. Ty looked out his window at his fields, at the world he knew. Why didn't you warn the government or scientists? Why crash in my field? I didn't mean to crash, Hannah said. I was shot down. And as for warnings, your scientists have already detected signs of the coming flare. They just don't understand how big it will be. No one will believe a warning about something this extreme. Then why are you here? Ty asked. Hannah leaned forward. In my time, we've developed technology to move people through time, but only forward, never backward. My mission was to establish a temporal anchor point here, before the flare. With it, we could evacuate some people, move them forward in time, to my era. Move people. To the future? Ty struggled to understand. Yes, Hannah said. We can't save everyone, but we could save some. Enough to preserve important knowledge, culture, genetic diversity. And you chose my farm for this. Anchor point. Why? Hannah smiled slightly. It wasn't random. In my history books, this place, your land, becomes important after the flare. A community forms here that survives and thrives. They develop new ways of living that help humanity rebuild. Ty looked around his simple home with new eyes. My farm becomes important. Yes, Hannah said. But now everything has changed. I was attacked before I could set up the anchor. My equipment is damaged. She looked at Ty with serious eyes. And worse, the attack means we're not alone. The erasers have followed me here. Who are these erasers? Ty asked, feeling a chill despite the warm morning. People from another future, Hannah said grimly. They believe time should not be changed. That what happens must happen, no matter how many suffer. They hunt time travelers like me. And they're coming here? To my farm? Hannah nodded. Yes, they'll come to finish what they started. To make sure I can't complete my mission. She reached across the table and took Ty's weathered hand in hers. And they'll eliminate anyone who knows about the future. Anyone who knows what's coming. Ty swallowed hard. That means me. Yes, Hannah said softly. I'm sorry I've brought this danger to you. But perhaps together, we can still find a way to save some people. If you'll help me. Outside, the sun rose fully over Ty's fields. In the distance, the broken dragon exosuit lay in the crater like a fallen star. And somewhere, Ty knew, the erasers were coming. Ty stood by his window, watching the sun rise higher over his fields. The crater where Hannah's dragon exosuit had crashed was clearly visible now in the morning light. He could see parts of the metal body gleaming. We need to hide that, he said, turning back to Hannah. If anyone sees it, Hannah nodded. You're right. But first, I need to get what I can from it. There might be parts I can use to send a message or build some protection against the erasers. Can you walk better now? Ty asked. Yes, the medicine is working. Hannah stood up carefully. She was steadier now. We should go quickly. They walked back to the crash site. In daylight, the dragon exosuit looked even stranger, like something from another world. Which, Ty reminded himself, it was. Hannah began removing small devices from different parts of the broken machine. She worked quickly, knowing exactly where to look. Ty helped as best he could, following her instructions. What is all this? He asked as they collected the strange objects. Technology from my time, Hannah explained. This is a power cell. This is a quantum communicator, though it's damaged. This, she held up a small silver disc. This is the most important. It's part of the temporal anchor. It's broken, but I might be able to fix it enough to help a few people. As they worked, Ty had many questions. You said you're human, but from the future. How different are people in your time? Hannah paused her work. We've changed in some ways. We live longer. Most of us have enhanced bodies, stronger bones, better immune systems. Some changes were made to help us live in space or on other planets. Is that why you're so light? Ty asked. When I helped you walk, you seemed to weigh almost nothing. Yes, Hannah smiled. My bones are different, stronger but lighter, and my muscles are more efficient. It helps in different gravity environments. And your eyes? Ty had noticed that in bright sunlight, Hannah's eyes had an unusual golden ring around the pupils. Enhanced vision, she said. I can see more of the light spectrum than you can. Infrared, ultraviolet, useful for a scout. They finished collecting what they could from the exosuit. Hannah had filled a small bag with various devices and parts. Now we need to hide it, she said. Looking at the broken dragon body, Ty thought for a moment. I have a tractor. We can push it deeper into the crater and cover it with dirt. It took them most of the morning to bury the exosuit. Ty used his tractor to push dirt over the broken machine, while Hannah made sure all important parts were either taken or completely covered. By noon, the crash site looked like nothing more than a hole in the ground. No one would guess there's a dragon from the future buried there, Ty said as they walked back to the house. Not a dragon, Hannah corrected with a small smile. Just a ship shaped like one. In my time, we found that dragon shapes work well for atmospheric entry. Back at the house, Hannah spread the salvaged parts on Ty's table. She began connecting them in ways Ty couldn't understand. Her fingers moved quickly, with the skill of someone who had done this many times before. Can you really send a message to the future? Ty asked, watching her work. Not exactly, Hannah said, but I might be able to create a small temporal field, a bubble of slowed time. It won't save many people, but it's better than nothing. As she worked, Ty made them lunch, simple rice and vegetables from his garden. Hannah ate hungrily. A real food tastes so good, she said. In space, most of what we eat is grown in special chambers or made in machines. No farms in the future? Ty asked, surprised. Oh, there are farms, Hannah said, but different from yours. Some are in huge buildings that reach into the sky. Some are on other planets. Earth itself. Well, after the flare, much of Earth had to be rebuilt. Ty was quiet for a moment. Tell me more about this flare. What exactly will happen? Hannah put down her tools and looked at Ty seriously. The sun will release a massive burst of energy radiation, charged particles. When it hits Earth, it will create electrical currents in anything that can conduct electricity. Power grids will fail. Transformers will explode. Satellites will stop working. No phones, no internet, no electricity in most places. Like a big power outage. Ty asked. Much worse, Hannah said. The damage won't be fixed in hours or days. It will take years to rebuild. And without modern systems, many people won't survive, especially in big cities where food and water depend on electricity. Ty thought about this. But people like me, farmers in the countryside, we might be okay. Yes, Hannah nodded. That's why communities like the one that forms here become so important. You know how to grow food without machines. You have wells for water. You can survive without the modern grid. And that's why your people want to save us. To learn these old ways? Partly, Hannah said, but also because every human life is valuable. In my time, We look back at this disaster as one of the great tragedies of history. If we can save even a few people. She was interrupted by a beeping sound from one of the devices on the table. Hannah picked it up quickly, her face suddenly worried. "What is it?" Ty asked. "They're coming," Hannah said, her voice tense. "The erasers. This detector is picking up temporal distortions. They're opening a time portal somewhere nearby." "How close?" Ty asked, moving to the window. "Within 10 kilometers, Hannah said. "They'll be here soon." "What do they look like? Will we see them coming?" "They use exosuits like mine," Hannah explained. "But theirs are designed for combat, not exploration. They look predatory, like hunting animals made of metal. And they want to kill us?" Ty asked, his voice steady despite his fear. "They want to stop me from changing history," Hannah said. "They believe the solar flare must happen exactly as it did in their timeline. No interference, no saving people. They think it's the natural order. That's cruel," Ty said simply. "Yes," Hannah agreed. "But they believe they're protecting the timeline. In their view, any change might lead to worse outcomes." She returned to her work with greater urgency. "I need to finish this device. It's our only chance. What can I do to help?" Ty asked. Hannah looked up at him. "Do you have any weapons?" Ty shook his head. "Just farm tools. A shovel, an axe for cutting wood. Those might help," Hannah said. "But our best defense will be this." She held up the device she was building. "If I can get it working, it will create a field that disrupts their technology. Their exosuits won't function properly inside it." "How long until they get here?" Ty asked. Hannah checked the detector again. "Hours, maybe. By nightfall for sure." Ty nodded and stood up straight. At 62, he had never expected to fight visitors from the future. But this was his farm, his home. And now, it seemed, it might be humanity's hope. "Then we have work to do," he said. "Let's prepare." Outside, dark clouds began to gather on the horizon, as if the sky itself knew that a storm was coming, not of rain and wind, but of time and fate and the future of humanity. The afternoon passed quickly as Ty and Hannah prepared for the coming threat. Ty gathered his tools: a shovel, an axe, a heavy hammer, and some rope. He wasn't sure how these simple items would help against beings from the future, but they were all he had. Hannah worked steadily on her device, connecting parts from her crashed exosuit. Sometimes she would mutter to herself in a language Ty didn't understand. Other times she would curse softly when something didn't work as she hoped. "How is it going?" Ty asked as the sun began to lower in the sky. "Not good," Hannah admitted. "The main temporal core is damaged. I can create a disruption field that might slow down the eraser's exosuits, but I can't make a proper time bubble to save people from the flare." She looked up at Ty, her eyes tired but determined. "We need to think about who to warn, who to try to save. Even with this limited device, we might be able to protect a small area during the flare." Ty sat down across from her. "My neighbors, the Kim family, they have 3 young children. And old Mr. Park, who lives by the river, he's too stubborn to leave even if we warned him." "How many people live nearby?" Hannah asked. "In walking distance?" "Maybe 50, Ty said. "The village is small." Hannah shook her head sadly. "This device can only protect an area about the size of your house. Maybe 20 people at most." Ty's face fell. "How do we choose who to save?" Before Hannah could answer, her detector began beeping again, louder this time. She grabbed it quickly. "They're closer," she said, her voice tense. "Maybe 5 kilometers away now." And she studied the readings. "There are 3 of them." "3?" Ty felt a chill. "Can we fight 3? "We have to try," Hannah said. She stood up and went to the window, looking out at the darkening sky. "They'll wait until night to attack. They prefer darkness." Ty joined her at the window. "What exactly will they do?" "First, they'll destroy any temporal technology, my device, the parts I salvaged. Then they'll eliminate anyone with knowledge of the future." Hannah turned to face Ty. "That means both of us." Ty nodded slowly. "Then we need a plan." As night fell, they prepared the house. Hannah placed her nearly finished device in the center of the main room. She explained that when activated, it would create a field that would disrupt the eraser's technology. "Their exosuits are more advanced than mine was," she said. "They can fly short distances and have weapons built in. but they depend on complex systems that my device can interfere with. What about their weapons? Ty asked. Energy-based, Hannah said. Like concentrated light, but much more powerful. One hit would be, she didn't finish the sentence. Ty understood. One hit would be fatal. They turned off all lights in the house. Ty let Mong out into the yard. The dog would bark if strangers approached. Then they waited in the darkness. Tell me about your time, Ty said softly as they sat by the window, watching the night. What is it like? Hannah was quiet for a moment. Beautiful, in many ways. We've learned to live with nature instead of fighting against it. The cities that survived the flare were rebuilt to work with the environment. And we've spread to other worlds, Mars, Europa, colonies around other stars. Are people happy? Ty asked. Mostly, Hannah said. We still have problems, of course. Humans are still humans, even centuries from now. But we've solved many of the big issues: hunger, most diseases, energy needs. It sounds like a good future, Ty said. It is, Hannah agreed. That's why I became a temporal scout, to help create that future by saving some of the past. Suddenly, Mong began barking furiously outside. A moment later, they saw a strange light in the sky, moving fast toward the farm. They're here, Hannah whispered. The light split into 3 parts. They moved with purpose, not like any aircraft Ty had ever seen. They circled the farm once, then descended toward the field where Hannah's exosuit had crashed. They're looking for my ship first, Hannah said. Good, that gives us a little more time. Through his old binoculars, Ty could see them now. They were shaped like animals, one like a wolf, one like a large cat, and one like a bird of prey. All made of dark metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved with frightening grace, examining the crash site. They know it's been moved, Hannah said tensely. They'll track it. And us? Sure enough, the 3 figures soon began moving toward the house. Mong's barking became frantic, then suddenly stopped with a yelp. Mong! Ty called out, worried for his dog. They probably just stunned him, Hannah said quickly. They don't waste energy killing animals. She moved to her device and made a final adjustment. When I activate this, it will disrupt their systems, but only for a short time, maybe 5 minutes. We need to use that time to either disable them or escape. How do we disable them? Ty asked. The pilots inside are vulnerable if the exosuit is opened, Hannah explained. Just like I was. Look for joints, connection points. Hit those with your tools. Ty gripped his axe tightly. He was scared but ready. There's something else you should know, Hannah said suddenly. Something I haven't told you. What? Ty asked, not taking his eyes off the approaching figures. In my history books, this farm becomes important because of one Manu. Ty, you survive the flare and teach others how to live without modern technology. You save hundreds of lives in the years that follow. Ty turned to look at her, surprised. Me? I'm just a simple farmer. A farmer with knowledge that becomes precious after the flare. Hannah said, your skills, your wisdom about growing food, storing it, living with the land, these things become more valuable than gold. Why tell me this now? Ty asked. Because you need to survive, Hannah said firmly. If we have to make a choice, you must be the one who lives through this. For the future. Before Ty could respond, the front door of his house exploded inward. The wolf-shaped exosuit stood in the doorway, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. Behind it, the other 2 forms moved into position. Now, Hannah shouted, activating her device. A wave of energy pulsed outward from the small machine. The 3 eraser exosuits stumbled, their movements suddenly jerky and uncoordinated. Lights on their bodies flickered. Ty didn't hesitate. He charged forward with his axe, aiming for the wolf's leg joint as Hannah had instructed. The metal was hard, but his blow struck true. The leg buckled. Hannah had grabbed the shovel and swung it at the bird-shaped eraser. Her enhanced strength made the simple tool into a powerful weapon. For a moment, it seemed they might succeed. The erasers were disoriented, their movements slow. Then the cat-shaped one raised its arm. Despite the disruption field, a weapon emerged from its wrist. It pointed at Hannah. Look out! Ty shouted. He didn't think. He just moved. 62 years old, with nothing but an axe and courage. Farmer Ty threw himself in front of Hannah as the weapon fired. Time seemed to slow as Ty jumped in front of Hannah. The energy beam from the cat-shaped eraser's weapon flashed across the room. Tai closed his eyes, ready for pain, but the hit never came instead. There was a loud crash as something large burst through the side wall of Tai's house. A blur of metal and light slammed into the cat eraser, knocking its aim off. The energy beam hit the ceiling, leaving a smoking hole. Tai opened his eyes to see another exosuit in his living room, this one shaped like a bear, its metal body gleaming silver in the darkness. Unlike the dark erasers, this new rival shone with a soft blue light. Reinforcements. Hannah shouted, her voice filled with surprise and joy. The Confederation found us. The bear exosuit moved with incredible speed for its size. It grabbed the cat eraser and threw it outside through the hole it had made. Then it turned to face the other two. Get down. A voice boomed from the bear suit. Tai and Hannah dropped to the floor as the bear raised both arms. Weapons emerged from its wrists, firing bright pulses of energy at the wolf and bird erasers. The wolf was hit directly and fell backward, its systems sparking. The bird dodged and tried to escape through the door, but the bear was faster. It leaped across the room and caught the bird in a powerful grip. Outside, they could hear the cat eraser recovering. More energy beams flashed through the broken wall. Stay here, the bear said to Tai and Hannah. Then it charged outside to face the remaining threat. The sounds of battle filled the night, metal striking metal, energy weapons firing, trees breaking as the massive exosuits fought around Tai's small farm. Who is that? Tai asked, his heart racing. A guardian, Hannah explained quickly. From my time. They protect temporal missions. I didn't think they could find me after my communicator was damaged. The fighting outside grew more intense. Then, suddenly, there was a bright flash of light and a sound like thunder. After that, silence. Tai and Hannah waited, tense and ready. Footsteps approached the house. The bear exosuit appeared in the doorway, its metal body now dented and scratched in several places. Area secure, it announced. Then panels on its chest began to open, revealing a human inside. The pilot was a man who looked to be in his 40s, with features similar to Hannah's, the same subtle differences from people of Tai's time. He stepped out of the exosuit with practiced ease. Scout Do Hannah, he said formally. Your distress signal was received. I apologize for the delayed response. Guardian Kang, Hannah replied, standing straight. Your timing was perfect. The man Guardian Kang looked around the damaged house, then at Tai. This is the farmer? The one from the historical records? Yes, Hannah said. This is Tai. He saved my life. Kang bowed deeply to Tai. It is an honor to meet you, Farmer Tai. Your name is known to every child in my time. Tai felt embarrassed by this respect. I'm just a simple farmer. I only did what anyone would do. No, Kang said seriously. What you will do in the coming years is extraordinary. After the flare, when systems fail and people are desperate, your knowledge saves many lives. Tai looked at Hannah. You said the same thing. But I don't understand what's so special about me. Hannah smiled. It's not just your farming skills, though those are important. It's your heart, Tai. You were ready to die for me, a stranger from another time. That same compassion is what makes you gather survivors after the flare. Teach them, lead them. Kang nodded. In our history, this farm becomes the center of a community that survives when many others fail. You teach people to grow food without machines, to store it properly, to work together. Your community becomes a model for others. Tai looked around his simple home, now damaged from the fight. It was hard to imagine it becoming something so important. The erasers? Hannah asked. Kang, neutralized, he replied. Their exosuits are destroyed. The pilots have been captured and will be returned to their timeline. And the flare? Tai asked. Can you stop it now? Kang and Hannah exchanged looks. No, Kang said gently. The flare is a natural event. We cannot prevent it. But now that I'm here with a functioning temporal device, we can save more people. He walked to his bear exosuit and removed a small silver sphere from a compartment in its chest. This is a fully functional temporal anchor. It can create a bubble large enough to protect this entire valley during the flare. Everyone in the village could be saved, Hannah said, her eyes bright with hope. Not just saved. Kang added, given a choice, those who wish to can remain here, protected from the worst effects of the flare. They can become the community that helps rebuild. Others can choose to come forward in time, to our era. Tai sat down heavily in his old chair, trying to take in everything. So the flare will still happen in 16 days? Yes, Kang confirmed. But now we have time to prepare, to warn people, to give them choices. Will they believe us? Tai wondered aloud. Kang smiled. They will believe you, Farmer Tai. In our history, your neighbors trust you. When you warn them, many listen. Not all, but enough. As dawn approached, they made plans. Kang would set up the temporal anchor in Tai's barn, where it would be hidden from curious eyes. Hannah would help Tai warn the villagers, using her knowledge of the flare to convince those who doubted. What will you tell them about us? Hannah asked Tai as they watched the sunrise from his damaged porch. Tai thought for a moment. The truth, or part of it, that I found visitors who warned me about a solar storm coming, that we need to prepare. Those who know me well will listen. Later that morning, as Kang worked on the temporal device, Tai and Hannah walked to the edge of his property. In the distance, they could see the village where Tai had lived his entire life. Are you afraid? Hannah asked. Yes, Tai admitted, but also hopeful. If what you and Kang say is true, then my simple life has meaning. My knowledge, passed down from my father and his father before him, will help people survive. It will do more than that, Hannah said. In my time, there are farming methods still used that began here with you. Your name is in our history books as one of the people who helped humanity rebuild. After the Great Flare, Tai smiled at this thought. Then he straightened his shoulders and looked toward the village. We should start with the Kim family, he said. They have young children. Then Mr. Park by the river. He's stubborn, but he respects me. After that, the Lee sisters who run the small store. As they walked toward the village, Tai felt a strange mix of emotions. Fear of the coming disaster, sadness for the world that would be lost, but also pride and purpose. His simple farm would become a bridge between two eras of humanity, the world before the flare, and the world after, behind them. Hidden in Tai's barn, the temporal anchor hummed softly as it created a connection between present and future. And in the sky above, the sun shone peacefully, giving no hint of the storm that would soon erupt from its surface. A storm that would change Earth forever, but would not end humanity's story if, or as Tai now understood, humanity's future wasn't in its technology or its cities. It was in its knowledge, its compassion, and its will to survive, things that even the greatest solar flare could not destroy.